Welcome to another Stock Talk. Today is April 19th at 7:12 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, before we get started, I want to thank everyone who provided comments on yesterday's video. I read through all the comments. And if you guys like this videos, just hit the subscribe button on the bottom if you want to, of course. And I'm just trying to build a community so that we all help each other and get good trading practices so that we will minimize the number of mistakes we make in the future. So without further ado, let's talk about SPY on the 180-day chart. So we left off yesterday talking about a resistance area at the breakdown on March 22nd. So this resistance area was situated at 271.36. Why is this the resistance area? Well, looking at the 180-day chart, you can see that SPY came down, recovered, came down, recovered, came down, and at this point we would expect a recovery, a bounce again, but we didn't, and this was the breakdown area. So you can imagine that this would function as a resistance for this time around. In fact, this did function as a resistance. Now, yesterday we left off on the uptrend and we said that it was testing the resistance, which was a bullish sign for the markets. Okay, but what happened today? We started off pre-market trying to test the resistance. We couldn't get up there. You can see that we tried to pull up and we actually pulled lower than we pulled up. And then what happened next? We had a big red candle that went under the 20 EMA line, shown by the light blue line, followed by a green candle that wasn't able to push above the 20 EMA. It pushed above and then it closed below the 20 EMA. So, now that this has happened, the outlook from yesterday to today has shifted just a little bit. This is why the markets are really interesting in my opinion, because every single day, the outlook can be a little different. We don't want to change it so much that, we don't want to say yesterday's outlook was completely wrong, because some of it is right. But take a look at what happened. Here's two scenarios that I'm exploring right now. Here we are right now on SPY. One scenario is for it to, is for it to do a double peak, okay? That's one scenario. My opinion only. I mean, it doesn't have to do that. The other scenario is for it to continue going down. You guys can see that we're going on a U-turn. It could continue going down to where? It could go down to around here, or it could go down to test this support area, the major support area, all right? So you guys might ask, well, which one is more possible, right? Is it more possible to go up there, or is it more possible to go down? Right now, based off of the trends, based off of SPY alone, in my opinion, it's more possible to go downwards. Now, how far will we go? Well, let's pull out Fibonacci and let's take a look at this current uptrend. So where would we go? Well, we can expect a decline, right, to around 264 to 265 area. So if we see SPY have a pullback to 264 to 265 and have a bounce up, that's a positive sign for the markets. As a matter of fact, I can argue that if the market corrects a little bit and then tries to retest the resistance, that is better for the markets than for it to retest right now. Here's why. Okay, let me remove this drawing right here. If, hypothetically speaking, we did a double peak right here, tomorrow or the day or Monday, right? What does that mean? That looks like this right here. And if we fail the second time, there's a higher probability that we will go down, not only to this area, but there's a higher probability that we'll retest the major support area. If we correct right now, do a healthy correction back to 265, because we had a bullish streak, healthy correction 265 to 266 before we bounce up, then that is healthier because then we have a higher chance, in my opinion, of getting over that resistance. So let's take a look at another side of the picture. Okay, so SPY is presenting a more bearish outlook so far. Look at the banks, right? So banks could be another indicator of market movement. Okay, so recall yesterday the markets went down, but not a lot, right? But the bank, JP Morgan, went down quite a bit, right? Let's take a look at how much it went down. It went down like, let's see, a little over 1%. Okay. But what happened today? The markets went down. The bank stock went up 2.2%. Now that's a little strange to me, right? Because usually it's one way or the other, but not the opposite way. Okay, so that's one thing that's really interesting. So banks are slightly favoring a more bullish outlook. Taking a look at TVIX, which is the ETF for volatility. We said on the 180-day chart, we identified a support right here at around $6.76. 71 cents. We zoomed in on this portion yesterday and said that at this point, because SPY is nearing the resistance, we can expect volatility to increase. Will it increase all the way up there? No, not necessarily. But we can expect it to fluctuate between the 20 EMA line and the support line. Back and forth, back and forth. And this is what happened today, right? Looking at the 1-minute chart. This is exactly what happened today. It just kind of fluctuated back and forth. Am I going to go into TVIX now? No. Remember I said there's a probability of going down is more than it going up in terms of volatility. Let's zoom in on what happened today. The first 4-hour candle was a green candle, but the second 4-hour candle was a red candle. As a matter of fact, this red candle was greater than the green candle. I mean, yes, we did end up a little higher for volatility, but it was bigger. This slightly favors the market a little more. So we're getting some interesting information. What does that all tell me? That tells me the market so far is still undecided as to the direction of where we're going. And this is why I presented 3 different scenarios for you guys in terms of SPY and what it could do. All right, let's take a look at 4/CL, which tracks crude oil futures. We've been talking about this every single day because it's interesting. Crude oil has been making higher highs and higher lows, undoubtedly. And we saw that it stretched over this resistance area, this major resistance area. But today, it came down to retest possibly the new support area. And it actually kind of bounced so far. So should I see crude oil bounce and start getting back up? That could be another bullish sign for crude oil. But let's be very cautious because I want to show you guys something on GUSH. I had a position on GUSH yesterday, and I didn't point this out to you because I saw it right after, later on. Take a look at the 3-year trend for GUSH. Peak to peak, where we are now. This might be the reason why we can't stay over $32 because we are at the 3-year, trend high. This might be why GUSH is having a harder time. Plus, yes, the markets are moving down a little, but that might be another reason. These are all contributing factors. So if you guys are in GUSH, I just be a little cautious as to your position. Okay? We saw GUSH trying to fluctuate back and forth. And I sold GUSH around $32 today when I saw that it couldn't really hold up. So I sold it down here. And it actually went straight into drip, and then I sold it 5 minutes later. Okay? Drip, I made like $5. Doesn't matter. So... yeah, so you guys just be very cautious. Looking at the 180-day for GUSH, right? Yesterday, we also identified another resistance area. Now, where was this resistance area? It was at this breakdown candle, right? This is just similar to SPY. Where we broke down the bullish trend down here is where the possibility of a resistance is. And this literally coincides with the 3-year trend, downtrend that I showed you, right? This is why this place is acting as a resistance area. So if you guys are in a GUSH position, just be careful. If it does manage to go above there and stay above, good entry point for GUSH. Am I going to go into GUSH now? Nope. Am I going to a drip now? Let's take a look at drip. All right. We talked about drip yesterday in terms of the 180-day. We saw that on the 1-year chart. We made these boxes. And we said that every time drip went below its support, it had a huge sell-off. Huge sell-off. Huge sell-off. So let's take a look at what happened today, right? We know that drip went below its support. There's no question about it. We saw a small green candle today. Is that worrisome? Well, let's take a look at what happened here. There was a red candle and there was a green candle. Actually, this green candle was pretty high, right? Before it started coming down. So this green candle, is that a signal of reversal? No signal of reversal. This is not, and drip only went up like 0.5% today. It's nothing, right? This means nothing. Look at the 180-day chart. If you asked anyone, like, is this still going down or is this a reversal? Still going down, even though it went up. So this is why we need to keep a couple of things in order. Crude oil futures showing a more bullish trend. GUSH is showing a resistance area, but it could pull above. And drip is showing a more bullish trend for GUSH. Okay, keeping all of those things in mind, this is where you can make the decision of, oh, let's get into a GUSH trade, or no, let's not get into a GUSH trade. But I'm also eyeing GUSH right now, should it break that resistance area. Okay, let's talk about natural gas. Oh, and this one, once again, really interesting. I want to show you natural gas. Okay, so here's natural gas. I want to show you on the 1-minute chart really quick. We had natural gas reports coming out, which was a more bullish report initially, but then it actually came back down and got rejected by the top VWAP. Let's take like a 180-day chart for natural gas. Natural gas has shown a support at 2.663. What happened today? We bounced off of the support, and this is where we're at right now. Okay. You might ask, well, this must be a good entry point for UGAZ, right? Because that follows natural gas. So, not necessarily. And here's why, right? Take a look at what happened here. When we came up, yes, we did come up, but I want to show you something. So, natural gas is with UGAZ. So, let me show you this. You guys can see that, okay, when it bounces off the support at 53.31, yes, it goes up, right? But sometimes you can see it bounce off. It goes up and then it comes down very quickly to retest. So you could argue, okay, yeah, I could buy in and get that 3% profit. But if you set your stop loss, maybe down here, that's like 2% maybe or more, it's already a little hard because this support is here, but it's come under the support in the past. Are you willing to ride the trend of UGAZ if you bought in here, should it dip another 5%? I don't think so, right? I don't think you'd be willing to take the ride before it starts going back up again. So which is why I feel like now that we're at the support, I want it to test it a couple of times once again. Should it fall under here, I'd like to buy it there for sure. Am I going to buy it here? Not so much, just because the margin of profit isn't as great as the margin of risk. That's just my opinion. Wow. DGAZ, right? DGAZ is inverse natural gas. I did not expect this. So I guess this is how the market's trying to trick you. Look at this. We saw it was making lower lows because of yesterday, but then we also said that this was probably a pretty bullish trend because it managed to pull all the way up. DGAZ pushed all the way up pretty much to $30, almost, to its resistance. That is pretty incredible. So this is, so what can we look at? Well, again, you can see that this is a resistance. So if you guys want to play UGAZ, you know, want to get in that 3% to 5%, sure, by all means, if you think the risk is worth it. So that's just what I'm seeing right now. For gold, here's gold futures /GC. I took out a lot of trend lines because they were inapplicable. But I put in this one, right? It's making higher highs. We identified a resistance at 1363. Gold is actually showing a pretty bullish pattern. It's making higher lows, right? Higher lows. And if we see a bounce here, look at what happened today. JNUG went up 1.2%, but gold futures, when it actually closed lower. That's an interesting trend, right? That means gold kind of want to push up. If we see a bounce, I would take a look at gold, 100%. Gold has been showing this higher high in terms of its peak on the 180-day chart. This is JNUG, which follows gold. It's an ETF. And on this day, we said that it broke above its resistance. And we saw that there was a green candle followed by a red candle. So I'm like, am I going to buy in now? No, don't buy in yet, because we want to see what happens, because this might come back down. But today, we consolidated at this area. That's a bullish trend for gold. So if I can see a bounce on gold futures, then this is a possible break of trend for gold. It could keep going up. All right. Last thing I want to talk about. Square. The position that I was in. So on Square, the reason I entered yesterday was because every time it gapped up over the 20 EMA line, right, over this light blue line, we saw the start of an uptrend, right? Gapped up, we start the start of an uptrend. Yesterday we gapped up, we can find an uptrend. So there's a couple of things to keep in mind. Here is where patience is key, which I didn't have the patience yesterday, but patience is key if you want to find the best opportunity to come in. Look at this. After it came up, it kind of retraced back to the 20 EMA. And then it bounced off, right? And it came back down. Actually came back down to the 200 SMA. Here it came back down under the 200 SMA, right? But what's more noticing is that every time it bounces off the 20 EMA, here, it bounces off the 20 EMA. What do you think is going to happen here? It's going to bounce off the 20 EMA before it goes up. So my buy price was not the best. Well, where's the 20 EMA now? Well, it's situated around $59.80 by tomorrow. That could be a great buy price. $49.80 to $49.90. That's a great entry price for Square, because at this point we identified a more bullish pattern and you could buy in there. So today I actually bought in through Square on this account as well. And I bought in at $50.88. So I bought it right here when it was like consolidating, thinking that it would go up. But of course the markets went down, which kind of pulled Square. But you can see that Square held, right? Its support very well. This is another very bullish sign for Square. It did not go back to its previous low, yesterday's low. It held in the middle. That is exactly what we want to see in terms of a bullish trend. So Square, in my opinion, I mean, it may come down, but in my opinion, it's a good one to watch or take part in. So that's it for all my analysis today. Like if you like this video. If you didn't like it, I hope you like it in the future. And yeah, just spread the word if you guys like this channel, if these contents help you. And I will see you not tomorrow, but Sunday for another market analysis. See you then, and happy trading.